What's up, everybody? Brother Nathan here, back with episode 8 of the Kingdom Project. Same spot, same co-host, Brother William, and same Fernando, obviously. Brother William, so good to have you back.
It's good to be here.
And we have, obviously, another guest, Caleb Barksdale. So glad to have you here, bro.
Good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about you.
17. Just graduated high school in May. May. Trying to figure out what I'm going to do with college and stuff. But I serve here at the river, just kind of everywhere, like literally everywhere. I serve in youth, serve in the music ministry, serve on lift team, just kind of wherever I need to be. That's where I'm going to be.
Bro, so such an honor again. We'll probably say this, or I'll probably say it at some point in every episode. Brother Braxton will be back in a few months, and until he comes back, we'll be missing him, be thinking about him. I'm sure he's going to have to watch all these mugs. It's like the day he gets back, probably, because he is pumped. Been getting some letters from him, talking to him a little bit, and doing good, and he's excited. One of the first things he said to me when we talked last was, "Hey, are y'all getting back on the podcast?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." We took a break during camp, and then we started back episode 7, Brother William co-host, and now episode 8, Brother William with me and Caleb, and we're excited to be here. Brother Braxton, we love you, and we'll see you when you get back. But until then, this train gonna keep rolling. So again, like I said, got Brother Caleb here. He's been in youth under both of us, and so we're going to hit you with a question right off the rip. Which youth pastor is your favorite?
I can't. I'm not obligated to say. No favorite. We don't do favorites.
He said he pleaded the fifth up in here.
We don't do favorites.
I think we're actually put you on the spot right now to where you had to say it.
We can't do that.
To the camera. To the answer.
50% both.
Wait, so I was youth pastor for 13 years and I'm not better than him?
Right, and I got literally his last year and a half. It was a valuable last year and a half, though.
You're good.
Hey, we got two softball titles together, you know? 2 softball titles together. What's up, Section 1? No, it's we talked about that before we came on here. Was gonna put the pressure on you. He dipped quick though.
He did.
He's like, I plead the fifth, 50%. He 50%ed us, and my man's got half your life in the youth.
I mean, how many times did he bring you to church?
That's true.
Matter of fact, brother William was taking Caleb to youth rallies and other rallies when I was still a youth pastor. I was still his youth pastor. Caleb was going with Brother William to other rallies. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying. I said I'll put up a tally. Preacher, I give it to Brother William 100%, and then Brother William said he gave me the athletics.
Hey,
so we're tied 1-1. We're tied 1-1, and we'll start from there. But bro, so one huge reason we wanted to have you on this episode with Brother William and myself is one, because you've been able to be under us, but you're one of the only youth left under or that we were able to be your youth pastor under both of us, but that has gone through youth through your whole youth. We don't have a lot of people that were able to be in a youth group for basically their whole youth years, and we'll talk about it. I know there's some time where you moved away and came back, but we wanted to have you on here with both of us, and great conversation. We're going to have great episode in store for you, and I want to start off right off the rip, just a little bit your story. Like I said, I spoke about a little bit. You moved and came back, but talk about a little bit of your time in youth here at the river, and we'll just keep rolling.
Sweet. So I was born and raised here. I got the Holy Ghost when I was 6 years old, 2011 at kids camp.
With Brother Braxton?
Yes, sir, with Brother Braxton, same day. Alex Whitehead, that was our salt leader. We just kind of, we were best friends from the get-go, you know?
Yeah.
And we just kind of came back, and Brother Spikes there was a couple times he let us speak. Every once in a while on a Sunday night, he would just give us a mic for like 2 minutes. And
as a young man.
Just roll. But it kind of started young. I was 6 years old when I got the Holy Ghost, and I've just kind of been in church my whole life, really. And then 2014, so that was in 2011 when I got the Holy Ghost, so I was 6. In 2014, we moved to Iowa for the first time. My dad took a job up there, and we're just out in the middle. You can't say backwoods, you gotta say backfields, because there's no woods. There's just cornfields. Cornfields. But we just kind of in the middle of nowhere. Went to a small church in Ottawa, Iowa. Then came back like 4 or 5 months later, moved back here. And then about a year later, my mom's sister passed away, so we went up there, and we lived up there for 4 years. So that was in 2015, and then we came back in the summer of 2019, like right after camp season, right as I was going into high school. Just got plugged back in youth, and just kind of rolled with it. So I was really looking forward to like the camp season,
Yeah.
And COVID hit and
No,
couldn't even go.
right.
It was a
That's
whole
right.
like year and a half before I could even do anything. But yeah, just got plugged in and just rolled from there.
Bro, that's so good. Obviously, you can speak to that time of him first coming back.
I remember when they come back. It felt out perfect. Was y'all playing instruments yet, or y'all kind of learned that right? As
I
y'all
was
kinda
learning.
got back?
I had took like 2 weeks of lessons with the guy up there that I went to church with, and it just at the time it just was not for me. I hated it because I wasn't good at it, and it was just terrible. It was miserable. My fingers hurt. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just like, okay, this is just not for me. This is not for me. And Colby just took off with keys, and he was still going, still rolling. And then when we moved back, I just kind of picked it back up just because I saw like your boy Kyle Smith and all them just playing. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then I was like, maybe I'll just start picking it back up a little bit. And I just started teaching myself just kind of chords and a little bit of theory, and just kept rolling with it. And then literally like, it was like right before the Christmas concert, our little program, and Brother William was like, I want you to play for that. And I was like, okay. And I was just like, we'll just roll with it, And then I played at the youth rally right after that. And then ever since, I've just been playing.
And do Ableton.
Yep. That
Play
was a couple years later.
electric.
Yeah.
What else? I've seen you on the keys a little bit. Seen you on the drums a little bit.
Bass.
Little bit.
Stuck him on bass.
A little
last
bass.
week.
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Acoustic songs.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
So a little bit of, I love the fact that you shared that about, I hated it at first. My fingers hurt.
I hated it. It
So
was terrible.
any young person who says I'm not good at it, I don't like it, and my fingers
going.
hurt, just keep going,
keep
because
going.
this man's playing something
Keep going.
about every service, not every Sunday, about every service up here. Revive, all over the place, bro.
Every day it seems like.
So so you come back, start picking it
Yes,
back
sir.
up, start playing, and then Brother
plugged
William,
in,
and then Brother
went
William
plugged in.
says, "See you."
He just let me go. He just let me go. Let me and Colby.
He said, "Let's get this thing
Yep,
up
let's just
flying."
roll.
Yeah, because at first Colby wasn't in the youth group,
Nuh-uh.
so it was just Caleb for a little bit,
Oh, it was.
and then
rough.
Colby finally got old enough, and we
Oh yeah.
finally had not quite a full band, but
Yep.
more full.
Yeah.
Yo, acoustic and keys. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Hey, so we run a lot.
Let's
Well,
do it.
now we bring Ableton over there,
yes,
and you
sir.
get on the drums, and
Yes, sir.
now it's like
Colby.
the whole little
Oh,
thing.
we
Little
good.
Colby on the
We rolling
keys,
now.
rocking it. So, yeah, that was Brother William. Like we said last episode, Brother William just kind of left me keys to the Cadillac and just let me smooth sail. And he said, "Man, we got all these singers, all these musicians." And then Brother William was like, "Okay, we got it all up and going. Now we out." Brother Nathan and Sister Carissa take it over.
Yeah.
I remember after the youth rally, we were talking, and our first youth rally earlier this year, and was just like how many musicians, like young people we have that were up there. We
Right.
didn't feel it
Right.
which we have great hyphen too, but didn't have to fill it with so many hyphens
Right.
because we had so many young
Right.
people that just got into singing and playing
Yeah.
instruments. Like just boom, just blew up. Like right as y'all rolled out, everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, we'll try that. We'll all
Right.
go to Allstate and try it
let's
out.
do it.
We'll all do
tried
it."
for Allstate the year after we left. Like, well, appreciate that.
Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.
Was over here having to pull from hyphen every Wednesday, and now
Yeah.
everybody all of a sudden is like, "Yeah, we'll sing."
Yeah. Now we have like literally a full band, and not full band.
We had a
but
whole
have
group
singers.
that was like the same age.
Yeah,
It was like coming into youth group right as we were going out, and then they all kind of got old enough to join Allstate at the same time.
right.
So it was like perfect timing.
Right
Perfect.
as they turned it over,
Perfect.
which was great for Sister Carissa because
Yeah.
she loves music and sings, and so that gave her something to do. Because I was like, I mean, that don't do much. That don't do much for me. I love to have it, but I can't do anything with them as far as teach. I say all the time, like, I can tell you if it sounds good or if it sounds bad. I can't tell you anything to do with it. I can just tell you if that was good or that was bad.
All you got to know is that Nathan is going to be jumping up in the front.
Hey,
Yes.
I will be. I love worship. There ain't nothing like Nothing like worshiping. I mean, he's been good for, like, we're talking about all that he's done for me. You can't put yourself in some uncomfortable positions because he did a lot of uncomfortable things,
Right,
and so did
right.
the disciples. My goodness, if you can't show a little bit of praise.
Right.
Now I understand not everybody gonna praise the same way. I'm big like, hey, don't let somebody take your praise.
Yeah.
Like, praise the way you praise.
Yeah.
But you got to praise.
Yeah, do
You
something.
do got to
Right.
praise.
Move.
Clap
Move
your
Just sitting there
hands.
with your arms crossed is not like clap or lift your hands or whatever it is. Like, you ain't got to get up there and jump and almost tear something. Like, don't be that guy. But praise, he's done something.
Right.
If he hasn't done anything, he came and died for you.
Right.
But I promise, if you look into that life of yours, he's done a whole lot more than just that.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to be a singer or a musician to lead worship. You can just go with it.
Right,
Always.
just go
Always
and, like I said, be in that example. Be
Yeah.
in that example. So something I did want to talk about, which we'll probably bounce around a bunch of places, but because you serve so much and do so many different things here, I wanted you to speak to that for, like, the young person that you talk about. I didn't like the guitar and my fingers
Yeah.
hurt, but I kept with it, and now I'm able to serve everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Talk to going through having that, I guess, just that draw, that pull to want to get into something, stay
Yeah.
with it. But then it's one thing to learn the guitar at your house
Yeah.
or learn how to sing or sing
Right.
in the car or whatever, but it's something totally different to, okay, I'll put myself out there and
Right.
answer a call when the youth pastor says, hey, will you
Yeah.
sing at the rally? You could have easily been like, absolutely not.
Right.
Like, that's a lot of people. Finding, okay, I'm going to learn it. I'm also going to put myself plugged in and stay with it.
Right.
Because now you're moving on to hyphen, but
Right.
you're plugged in.
Yes, sir. I think one of my favorite sayings I've ever heard anybody say was Brother Drew Galloway said one time, God wants, I mean, everybody said it, but I just know it because he said it. But Brother Drew said, God wants availability more than ability. So you might not be the best at what you're trying to do, but if you make yourself available for that, God will honor that, and I guess he'll give you the strength and courage and just to keep with it and keep consistent, and he'll elevate you and just kind of roll with it.
Create opportunities. We
Yeah.
talk about that, like not being the reward,
Right.
but when you do have opportunity to play somewhere, like God
Right.
gave you that gifting,
Right.
use that gifting.
Right. God gives it to you. Just got to go with it. Stay consistent, and God will take care of the rest.
Well, what about from a youth pastor standpoint, which, like, okay, for you saw something in a young person, but for young people out there, which I know it's going to be consistency and setting the example, but something that you look for in somebody, okay, we're going to create an opportunity here to use you, but also we know that the pressure maybe won't be too hot for them or too heavy for them. Is there?
I think one thing you have to look for is you almost kind of weird way. You got to be quick to put them up there before they're almost ready. Like not spiritually. Spiritually, they got to be ready.
Okay.
And I think once you kind of see this person kind of growing in a certain direction, you need like invest in that spiritual time to make sure they're spiritually there. But then even if they're not completely comfortable, it's like, just go ahead, like just go mess up. It's fine. Because I mean, we do it with everything else in life. Like do it with musicians too. Do it
Yeah,
with singers
right.
too. Like it's okay if you stumble along the way. That's how you grow.
Yeah. Right.
If you get up there and you kill it every time, you're going to think, well, I don't have to try. I got
Right.
this. But if you get up there and you can look back sometimes where it was rough, then you can look back and say, oh, I need to try. I never get to the place
Right.
where I got it figured out. I don't
Right.
have all the answers.
There's
Right.
always room to grow in every aspect of ministry, every aspect of life. There's always just room to grow.
Still trying to close that gap between the guy who receives it and then the guy who brings it.
Always.
There's always that gap.
Always a gap.
Because it's like you're still there.
Right.
You're going to pray and fast and you're trying to do it for that. Obviously, that's your daily life.
Right.
But for a specific situation, okay, yeah, we're going to pray and fast for this event.
Yeah.
But there's still going to be some you in there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
There's,
Always.
there's still some human in there. So we're just trying to close that gap, just trying to get as close as possible to it. That's perfect as far as like you're saying, like just put them up there before
give
they're
them a
ready,
chance.
but not before they're spiritually
Yeah,
ready.
not
Right.
too far before they're not ready. But like once they're close, but you know they're going to have to work to get there. Okay, hey, in a month, we're going to put you up there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
kind of just push that last little bit of the process on. They've been going. They're looking forward to know at some point an opportunity is going to come. It's like, all right, you got a month to get really ready. And I mean, it makes it easier if you know, hey, this is coming up to lock
Right.
in and work on stuff. But yeah, definitely always looking eye toward the future. Like, yeah, I want you to do this now, but that's because there's a gifting there. I want you to develop it. And I don't want to wait forever to give you the opportunity.
Right.
Because there's been a lot of people get frustrated because they're trying, they're working on something, and the opportunity never comes.
Right.
And they finally like, well, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like you want to tell them have the right attitude and be better.
Right.
But they're human. I mean, people
Right.
are still
Right.
human. And especially, I talk about musicians plenty of times that, especially somebody that's on a platform, you're up there because you're good at something. And so there's always that battle with humility.
Right.
That you have to always, I hit the table, but you always have to check yourself, check your humility, your attitude. But at the same time, it's like you're up there because you're good at something. Like you've got to work on it.
Right.
You've got to put the effort in, and if they've got this talent, they'll grow. We got to give them an opportunity to start. You got to give them a starting line.
Right.
And eventually they get there.
Yeah, I can see where that would be quick. Like you said, like it's just that balance of I'm not after the platform, but at the same time, I'm doing this for a reason. Like, Lord gave me the ability, because not everybody has the ability to be musically inclined. Like, not everybody can sing. So if you do have a talent and you're trying to grow it, you do like want to share it with the kingdom. You want to use that in the kingdom. If you have a gifting and if you're singing, now look, I mean, not be like some of these people on American Idol or whatever. Your mom tells you you're good, but you know you're not. Like, record yourself. I'm sure you don't sound great. I'm sure an iPhone recording isn't amazing as far as acoustics and how it sounds back, but you can understand if it sounds good or not. You came back. You've been at church and heard some people sound good. Like, if you sound pretty good, or there's somebody comes up and tells you, hey, there's something there, like, try to develop that and try to find people to develop that. Like you said, you taught yourself, and you got to have that self-desire to go and pursue it. But there's a lot of people that you may could find somebody, somebody that sees, the Caleb up there playing. I would like to learn how to play that. I got some interest. Maybe I just go out there and ask them, like, hey, could you teach me a couple of things? I know Lil Kobe's had people ask him, and he's 15 years old. Hey, can you teach me a little something? Because a little something, and all of a sudden.
Well, that's a lot of it is, especially musicians, like, you know, that you hear somebody do something that's cool, and you go over there and ask them, like, how do I do this? And come back to humility, recognizing that even though I'm maybe better than this person at this overall, but I hear him do something cool, like, well, how do you do that?
They said, be humble for a second and say, hey, I need a little pointer. And then, I mean, most people, like, if you just go straight to their naturally, we're kind of selfish and prideful, because that's why the old man's got to die. Like, that's why we got to put him away, because we're naturally selfish and prideful. They're going to want to show you. If you can do something, like if they can do something that you can't do, most people are like, oh, yeah. I'll teach you a little bit. Most people. Now, you got some people that are not confident in what they do, then maybe not. But that's probably the same people that probably needed you to come up there and say, bro, that was so awesome. Like, you did so great. Could you teach me that? And they spark something. Being that encouraging word for somebody else sparks something totally different. Their ministry just take off, because
you never know who you're impacting when even little things like that. Just asking how'd you do that, or what'd you do here. Little things like that can impact somebody's whole ministry. Like I'll say, for instance, like there's been times where I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'll just shoot Andre a text and be like, hey bro, like, what do you think about this? Like, what is this? How do I fix this in Ableton or whatever? And he'll give me a pointer, like little stuff like that. And just being encouraging, like, if you need anything, give me a holler and I'll help you out. Like little stuff like that.
And then the flip side of that being, just people, like, you're the guy who people think's good. Because I know, like, hearing Brother William speak, and like the way he preaches is boom, but then also, like, he sings. Brother William plays the drums. We didn't talk about all that he does. Brother William plays the keys.
He does everything.
And so you can get to that point where, like, you're the guy who people think's good, and you're the one they're coming to. All the things that you do, all the instruments you play, you also sing and speak. So you're just kind of doing it all. And then having somebody, we had a guy in youth that was trying to learn to play electric. And he sends me a couple of videos, and sent Carissa a couple of videos. And we're like, bro, that's so good. And the first thing he sent back is, but I'm not as good as Caleb. That can real quick, like, you know what I'm saying? Now you're that comparison of, well, I'm not as good as Caleb, so I can't even go up there. But I know for a fact that Caleb has heard those things, and Caleb has built him up. No, bro, that's good. Like, you're good. Like, because you could easily be, oh, yeah, you're not as good as me, you know, and or want to protect your spot. want to protect your spot.
That's huge. That's
And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay,
Right.
I'm the guy that everybody
Right.
is like, oh, that's the good guy. That's the good guy. Well, let me hold on to this. I'm not going to necessarily give out any pointers. I'm not, because I got to keep my spot protected.
Yeah.
And then if I'm gone one Sunday, they'll figure it out. They'll know they missed me. Like, that's the humility thing.
Yeah.
But to be the guy that people are like, to come up to, and same for you, Brother William, the guy that people come up to and ask, like, being able to keep that head down, keep that humility about you, but also doing it in a teaching, helpful way.
I think that's something that our church does very well is humility across, especially within the teams. Like, my spot's not sacred, that anybody can do it. And I want it to be when I'm not here, everything's fine.
Right.
I'm glad that when I'm not here, Colby plays and we don't miss a beat.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm glad it needs to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, it should be that way. And I'm glad we have a culture where that can happen. Some people don't. And it's easy to lose that, like, within youth, for instance, to start. Because young people meet young people are young people. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just something that we're giving people the opportunity. Let them fail. Like, give them the opportunity to get in youth and fail and not crush them for it.
Right.
Not laugh at them about it.
Right.
But just be there, encourage them, you know, you got this. Yeah, you stumbled this time, it's fine.
Right.
We
That'll
do
be another time.
speakers, everything across the board. It's like, hey, you struggled, that's fine. I can find
mistakes.
Some, I can find some bad ones.
But I still can. I still can. But yeah, you going up in there and man, I want to say like, oh yeah, I can go back to my early days, but I mean they ain't that far away. They weren't that far away, and it's like, well, you bombed. Good thing somebody gave you another chance. Like you were terrible. Good thing somebody else gave you another chance.
I mean, was it maybe a few months ago? I think you either sent a video out or like showed us something you had cracked somewhere.
Oh, bro,
I was just thinking that.
And it's like being able to laugh at yourself helps so many other people,
right?
Because they understand. Okay, it's not that serious. Like, that if I mess up, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. They mess up too, and they're willing to laugh about it and move on from it. They didn't let it crush their confidence and quit over it.
You crack at senior camp on a solo. It's a big deal.
Just in front of
it's a big deal.
Right.
You crack on an opener or something. You crack at camp meeting. Like, or you crack on a Sunday morning.
Oh, boy.
Okay, it's okay then. If you went in there on a Wednesday night with 30, 40 people or 20 people and you cracked or you stumbled over a word. I still stumble over words. You can pull up whatever the last message I spoke was, and I guarantee you I mispronounced the word and I stuttered at some point.
Yep.
Like there's flaws, and if you can do that, somebody can do that on a big stage, so to speak. You know, you don't want to put it like that, but it is. It's a big stage.
It's literally a big stage.
Literally a big stage, a big opportunity, a lot of people watching, live streaming, 5,000 people there or whatever, and you crack or 400 people at your church or 200 people at your church, and you crack there and you're able to laugh it off, be humble about it, then that creates the opportunity where somebody is like, okay, I'm speaking in youth in front of 10 people, and I had to, sorry guys, I lost my place, let me find it. That's okay. That's okay, because we've seen people mess up and come back.
Right.
It ain't like you cracked and all of a sudden we don't know who you are anymore. You got shipped off somewhere else.
You just like get out of here.
You just got to come back with it. People fail. That's life. I've heard you say that. Allow people to fail, and that sounds like a terrible thing almost. But so many things are learned there, and you find out real quick what are you in it for? Were you in it for just your image? And as soon as your image got a little stained and they're not perfect, they don't have it all together, they don't always hit it on the part, will you come back and say it's okay, I got room to fix, or will you disappear into the shadows and never exist
and then come back not with the attitude, I'll show y'all I can do it, but hey, I'm human,
we make mistakes, we can bounce back, you know.
Laugh yourself off. We've had, we're so blessed here to have young people that are willing to do so much, and I encourage you as young people, if you're watching, like find a place to serve. I know we've said that probably in half the episode. Find a place to serve. Something that you have a gifting about, but God has given you a gifting. Like, find somewhere to use it at the kingdom. And you can use anywhere, anything. And I've said it before, don't think all I am is an athlete and I can't use it. Your gifting is fellowship, I promise. And then that will go somewhere. Greeter, whatever it is. Parking lot, you're a tough guy. Hey, we need somebody on parking lot to send somebody out of here. But I'm so thankful for young people that are willing to try stuff. And I'm not going to say anybody bombs, because we've had it pretty good with our singing and our speaking, but we'll stumble in there. They'll stumble in there, and then you're just like, right on it. Can you say every time you spoke in youth, you smashed it? Or you feel like you know what I'm saying? You stumbled over the top of it. Everything you picked up was good at the first time. No, there were some tough spots, but then you're able to learn through it and stay with it, and then that gets you plugged into the other thing I want to talk to you about. You're plugged in and you're serving at all these places at a young age, where most people's parents make them go to church. You don't want to say that, but sometimes you're like, no, you're going to church today, like because they're looking out for your best interest. They want you to be involved, and some people don't want to go. But when you get to an age of hyphen, you're in college, you already graduated, or whatever it is. You can make your own decisions, and so many the statistics are ridiculous of how many people fall away after high school. Finding a place to serve and being plugged in the kingdom while you're in youth, to when it comes to the point of, oh, I could not go to church if I wanted to, but I still want to because I love it. Speak to that as going into hyphen, but you already have a place where you're plugged in here at the church.
Right. So I feel like one of the biggest things for me is just because I've always been connected, like ever since I was little. I've always had people, friends in the fellowship, but also like being a part of a team. When you're in a position, like in a transition from like high school to hyphen or whatever, youth to hyphen, and you're plugged into a team, you're still going to serve with that team, even though you're moving on to a different part of your life. So like I'm going to hyphen, but I'm still going to serve in the youth.
Right.
You're never not going to serve in that capacity just because you're moving on, you know?
Right.
And I think being connected with your teams and your youth group and your hyphen group or your church is 100% like what's going to keep you in it. If obviously like serve, like that's all I can say. Just keep serving.
That goes great to what you said last episode about when people come back from camps, they're really close and then they get back clicky. Same thing goes with moving from youth to hyphen. Keep that bridge, keep that relationship there to where you're still serving with youth, but then also you're serving with hyphen. And it's smooth across the board where like we started doing it where we have the 4 to 9 year olds coming in on, we do preteens every other Sunday or every first and third Sunday. Every first Sunday, the 4 to 9 year olds come in with the preteen class and have worship together to build the bridge. And then every last Wednesday or every fourth Wednesday when we have youth, we'll bring in the preteens with the youth and the hyphen. So it always keeps flowing together. And then by the time you're in hyphen, you're in the main service. So you have that bridge all the way together. And if you keep that team spirit of we're all working together as a church rather than we're the youth group, we're the preteens, we're this.
Like you just got to build that bridge so that when they go to that next, there's somebody there that they know. Right. And the more opportunities to intermingle, the better. And take advantage of that too. Right. Like if you're a young person and you're around the hyphen for something, talk to them. Right. Ask them questions.
Get advice.
Get advice. Build a relationship so when that time comes and you're part of that group, you can already, we don't want clicks, but you already have a relationship with someone.
Right. You're already there to be able to have conversations. Like you were talking about a young person, their first validation is going to be from the young people. Like you as a speaker, you as a singer, as a musician, because it's going to happen in youth. Right. So if you're not having any conversations with them and then all of a sudden you just walk up there on a platform, if we're just being real, they probably don't care what you're going to say. Or they're not going to show up when you get put out on social media that you're the guy that's speaking. Right. Well, the same thing goes for the next chapter. Yeah. When you go to hyphen and you've never spoken to those people before, there's going to be a little harder to bring you in and just all of a sudden you're on the same level. But then, okay, if we've been bouncing back and forth, you've been serving on each team and then still bringing up those, because there's people behind you that are still looking at you. Right. If they say, oh, as soon as he went to youth, he dipped and we never seen him again, then they're thinking, okay, as soon as I get to hyphen, I don't ever have to say anything with the youth. And now you, the guy that they looked up to, is now like, oh, well, when we get to 18 years old, I guess we can be snobby and not worry about anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like that bridge that you keep back and forth. Yeah, I'm going on to the next part and I'm serving, but I'm still being a leader and an example to these people behind me.
That's a good mindset to have. Is like when you move on to a different part of like you're growing as in like age or whatever. You're going to a different like youth to hyphen. Yeah, you can be. When you're in youth, those are your peers, and then when you move to hyphen, those people can look up to you and be like, "Hey, I want to be like Caleb, or I want to be like Colby, or I want to be like Braxton." and you can use that as a way to look up to your hyphen as well. Like, hey, go to them for advice. Like, hey, what do I do in this certain situation? Or can you help me out here? But then also you can be that same person when the youth are moving up to hyphen as well. You can be that person for them. So
Right.
it's all about connecting. Yeah.
We talk about it at school, and we've said, oh, yeah, y'all are probably the minority at your school.
Right.
Definitely the minority.
Right.
Unless you're
Yeah.
homeschooled, you're the minority at your school in the life that you're trying to live for the Lord. But not only being an example there for people, but being the example at church. Like, this needs to be a comfortable place for you. I mean, obviously, you want your home to be safest place you go to, but church needs to be a very safe place and comfortable place that you can be yourself. But don't get so comfortable where you just go sit in the corner or do whatever you want to do. Like, keep that leadership role, keep that example role, because everybody can be an example. You don't have to be a leader. Like, everybody has leadership qualities. You may never put yourself in a leadership role or never be put in a leadership role, but you still have an example to be. And to be that also at the church rather than just at school or at your workplace is a good thing to remember.
Right.
They're looking at you.
Always.
Like, whether you want them looking at you or not, those kids are looking at the preteens are looking at teenagers. Everybody's looking at what I'm going to become.
Yeah.
And so you want to be the best example you can of what they're going to become. And also take advantage of those hyphen that are there as you're moving in. It's like, okay, this is what I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the youth. Like, okay, you're coming in at 13 or 14 years old. You're going to lean toward, hey, what's that 16, 17, 18-year-old doing? Right. And then see, when you get to hyphen and you're 18, 19, what's that 24, or 23, 25-year-old doing?
Right.
Like, let's lean on them. And, bro, that, like you said, that bridge is such a thing to keep together and keep remembering, all while keeping your humility. Because you're going, Brother Michael says it, I'm sure 100 other people have said it. Brother Michael says you're a 10 at something. You'll be a 10 at something. You'll be able to serve somewhere. Everybody has a thing that the Lord gave them. And He gave some of them multiple things. Yeah. But everybody has a thing.
Right.
And if you haven't found it yet, we need to get it found.
Get plugged in.
Yeah.
Plugged in.
We're going to find it. But you have that thing that you do great. And we got to keep that, but also keeping the Lord gave me that.
Right.
Yeah.
Keeping that humility about you.
Get plugged in somewhere. If you don't know what your ministry is yet, nobody does. Everybody's looking, or obviously people know, but there's always room to find out what you're good at. Like me, I started off coming up here that was when we had 9/11 was really when I kind of took off and started getting really engaged and trying to serve places. It started for me putting batteries in microphones and checking batteries. Like stuff starts off so small. Like you're not just gonna go from, oh, I can play guitar, let me hop on the platform real quick. Like it's never gonna be like that. Always. And if you don't even know what your ministry is, just I keep saying this, just keep getting plugged in to where you can, anywhere. Just be available.
Bounce around.
Anywhere. Go everywhere, bro.
Bounce around. Be
go
a
to
greeter.
kids. Go work in kids ministry. Go be a greeter.
Yeah, be a greeter, and then find out, oh wait, I don't like to smile. Bounce somewhere else. Be on the parking lot. Be in kids. Hey, I'm not necessarily want to be the guy that holds open the door, but I can have fun because I'm comfortable with the 6, 7, 8-year-olds because I got a little brother or a little sister. Like, bro, bounce up in there. Right. And if you find out kids get on your nerves, hey, try to figure out media. Try to figure out sound. I know for a fact they're looking for people to do media and sound. They are in the minority because that's a whole bunch of buttons and switches and people are scared of it. I walk up there and I'm like, bud, I'm just trying not to mess stuff up.
If you want to run a camera, we always need camera operators.
Hey, jack up.
And we just got the stuff in the student center. So, like, hey.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
there's places. There's always places to serve.
Bounce around. You don't want to be like the inconsistent, unreliable person, but bounce around till you find somewhere that you fit. Yeah. Because you want to be excited.
Right.
To use your gift. Like, you want to be excited to come to church. One, you want to be excited just from what He's done for you.
Right.
But as a young person, there may be still in that spot where you're still figuring it out exactly what you believe. You're still learning the stories. You're still reading the Bible and trying to pick up stuff. Yeah, you're still building foundation, but you still want to get excited to come here. Right. So find somewhere to plug in and get excited about it because you should wake up. My dad used to sing a song when I was a little kid, and he said, which I'm not a singer, but he said, everybody wants to go to Sunday school. He'd wake us up with that. Everybody wants to go to Sunday school. The men and the women, the boys and the girls, everybody wants to go to Sunday school. And I was like, bro, I do. Like, let's go. Like, I want to go to church.
When you have that mindset of like for the kingdom, like you put time and you put effort and you put hours into something, but you keep that mindset of for the kingdom, you're gonna love it, and it'll make you excited, and it'll make you want to keep going and keep striving for whatever it is God has in store for you, man.
Bro, absolutely. Bro, I want to say thank you so much. Incredible conversation. I feel like it just flies by.
Yeah.
Like when you can get in like good conversation.
There's like 100 other things I'm thinking I could say right now.
Right. Like you can just keep.
Gotta stop at some point.
You can just keep rolling,
Chase
and you
the
remember,
rabbits.
oh yeah, somebody's watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify, and they do have a certain amount of time. But bro, thank you so much for coming. Anything for both of y'all? Anything you want to send us out with? Last little bit. I don't want to just cut us off. I want to make sure you get everything out that.
I'll say this one last thing. In that transition, the 3 relationships that matter: your relationship with God, your relationship with the church itself, serving, being connected, and your relationship with people. And that includes dating, because obviously the 2 things where people slip in that transition is they start dating somebody that's not good for them, or they're not connected doing anything in the church. And that seems to be the place where everybody falls through the cracks. So it's like those 3 relationships are critical in that transition time.
Right. Absolutely. Brother Caleb?
Like I keep saying, just get plugged in where you can, serve, and God will take care of the rest.
Let God take care of the rest. Serve with a heart full of faith and no
sir.
doubt in it.
Yep.
All right. Thank y'all guys so much. Thank y'all for watching again, episode 8. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks or so with episode 9. Love you guys.